Time for a cuppa. Right. Welcome to another music review. This one is a special one for me, really. A special release, a pivotal release of my teen years. We're going back to, I think, the 22nd of March, 1987 for this. And we've got an album which is pivotal because this was my first ever thrash metal album. Before I bought this album, I did not know what thrash metal was at all. I was too busy listening to radio-friendly rock at the time. So, for me, this album I have a real big soft spot for, and I've bought it in multiple formats over the years. And the format I've got now is, well, the album is by Anthrax, and it is Among the Living. Most probably their most important record of their career, early career, definitely. This album really did break them out to mainstream. Well, bigger league, bigger stadiums, bigger shows, bigger arenas, that type of thing. So the edition I've got the Deluxe Edition. So I'll show you what I've got. So this is a double disc version of the album. There you go. And this has also got this to the DVD, the nice NFV, the nice fucking video, which was shot at Hammersmith Odeon, which I used to go around my mate's house at school, and we just used to watch it and watch it and watch it and watch it. So, I'll show you the booklet, like you do. There we go. Now, Among the Living, the title track was written, it was written about The Stand, Stephen King's book. If you haven't read The Stand, I suggest you put aside a couple of weeks to read it because it's a wedge of a book. And there's the main character in it is a fella called Randall Flagg, and I thought that was him, but it's not. This fella on the cover, I always thought it was Randall Flagg, but this fella is the priest out of Poltergeist 2. I did not know that. So there you go. Cracking cover. There you go. So let's show you there you go. Lots of info on this. I'll just show you. There's a group picture at the time. We've also got lyrics, like we always have. What was this? This is that Danny or Frank? I think that's Frank Bello. Or was that Joey? I can't see from here. More lyrics. Charlie, I think, one of the most underrated. You know, when people mention their favourite drummers, this guy never gets, mentioned. I'll tell you now, he's in my top 5 drummers of all time, Charlie Benanti. And his influence, his drumming style on the band Anthrax is paramount. It really is. So there you go. More. Who's that? Scotty in with hair. There you go. He hasn't had hair for years. Got Joey Belladonna, Danny Spitz, Charlie Benanti, Frank Bello, Scott Ian. And there you go, more. And there you go, some more there. Another group photo. So this was expanded version. So I'll tell you the story now. I've just waffled on for 5 minutes. God knows where that's gone. When I first discovered Anthrax, there used to be a music show called The Chart Show back in the 80s. And it's basically a video montage of everybody, kind of like promo videos. And they were kind of like quite cleverly put together. And it was kind of like a show on a Saturday morning. And I used to have, for different styles of music, a top 10. So once a week they would have a soul and R&B top 10, and one week they would have a heavy metal top 10. Now, the heavy metal top 10 sometimes didn't comprise of heavy metal. It had bands like, well, what I wouldn't class as heavy metal, as Status Quo in it and stuff like that. But one week they had Anthrax on it with I'm the Law, which was one of the singles from this album. And I was entranced. But the clip they showed of it was the chorus. So the chorus is quite melodic in a way. And that was it. So I thought, wow, there's a great hard rock band called Anthrax. I'll have to go out and check them out. So I went out looking for this album. I managed to get hold of the vinyl. And, you know, the cover I loved. And I always wanted to get the t-shirt of that, but I never got it. Anyway, I got the album. I took it home. I put it on. Then I started listening to it. And the first listen, I thought, what the fucking hell is this? What the hell have I just bought? I mean, it was the heaviest thing I've ever heard of in my life at the time. You know, I could not get into it. There's no catchy hooks. There was a chorus here and there. And I thought, God, this is going to take some getting into. But from then on, I was determined to get into this band. Determined to get into this album. I've never heard of thrash metal until this album. So it was a shock to the system. So I kept playing it and playing it and playing it and playing it. I started to read up on the band. Started to find out a little bit more about their earlier stuff as well. Picked up Fistful of Metal on vinyl. Picked up Spreading the Disease. And I started to kind of like get into them. And it took the whole of the summer holidays, because I bought this album at the beginning of the summer holidays at the time. It took me all of the summer holidays to get into it. So by the time I went back to school, I was a new man. I was into thrash metal, if you know what I mean. So this has got a real special place in my heart. So I'm going to go through the track listing. I'm not going to go through the bonus tracks, because the bonus tracks are all alternative mixes, alternative leads. There's a B-side called Buddy Love Bomb and Satan's Lounge Band, which and it's got I'm the Man as well, which I will do another video on I'm the Man, and I won't go into the disc 2 because that's just, that was basically just the DVD. So we got there in the end. So what can I tell you about this? Well, let's start off with the first track, Among the Living, the title track. It comes in, straight away, and it reminded me of punk in a way. It had a punk attitude, and it starts going about spreading the disease, part of the The Stand, Stephen King's The Stand, spreading the disease. The chorus is I'm the Walking Dude, which is Randall Flagg, the main character of The Stand. And I was entranced by that song, and it didn't make me pick the book up at the time. But I always thought I have to read The Stand. And the thing is, what put me off about The Stand was the actual length of the book. I was in school at the time, and I thought, I'm used to reading, flipping books about that. This one's like that, but it's a great song to open with. Then the next song we've got Caught in a Mosh, which is a real kind of like live song for them. And it's got a great bass line in it as well. And I did not know what mosh meant at the time. I did not know what, to mosh meant. Jumping around and falling over people and that. So, again, this was a new thing for me at the time. And it's a great song. It's got a great, great bass line in it. It's a great live one as well. So, then we go to I Am the Law. I Am the Law, for me, is one of my favourite Anthrax songs of all time, if not my favourite Anthrax song. And it's about Judge Dredd. Judge Dredd, if you're not familiar with Judge Dredd, he is a main character in 2000 AD's comic. Um, Big cult following when I was growing up. Everybody, the geeks in the class used to read Judge Dredd, Nemesis of Warlock, and that in 2000 AD. And he was a larger than life character. He was the law. He kept the law in the land. And to see it in music as well, it was fantastic. And I think it did break 2000 AD out more and made people go out and try, to read the comics as well. It's a great song. It is. I am the law. You won't fuck around no more. It was straight banging. When I first heard it, like I said on the chart show, I only heard the chorus. I did not hear the rest of the song. And to this day, I remember the first time I heard it, it's like, what the fuck is this moment? I was expecting a hard rock song, but I got a thrash song. But it is still a brilliant song. I love it. I absolutely love it. Brilliant song. Nice fucking life. Evil Nifkufesin is the next song. Apparently this was about John Belushi. Now I'm not that familiar about John Belushi. I think he have a relationship with Dan Aykroyd. Not too sure. I think he did. Again, a nice, great live favourite. Get the crowd singing NFL. Nice fucking life. It's a great live song. All these songs on this album can come across well live. They really can. And that finishes off the first side, the first four songs. And like I say, completely entranced. Second side starts off with Skeletons in the Closet. Now, this is another Stephen King inspired song. And this was about, I read this, it's from a story called Apt Pupil. And I think this was from Different Seasons. His short story book. And basically, if I remember rightly, because it's a long time ago since I read it, it's about an ex-Nazi war criminal who finds himself living in small town America. And I think he befriends a young lad or something, and I think he starts to tell him some stories about his past. Or I think the lad, I'm not sure if the lad kind of like blackmails him, finds out what he is, and says, "Oh, tell some stories, or I'll tell everybody that you're a Nazi." And I think they end up gassing things in the oven. I think they do. Getting pets and cats and dogs and sticking them in the oven, gassing them. I can't remember. Murder me in the comments about that. I think it is. Next song, what we got? We got Indians. Joe Belladonna, Indian heritage, I would say. Yes, great song. It was the second single. I think it was the second or first. I can't remember. Another favourite of mine. It really is. It's still a great song now. When I hear them play it live, it still gets the crowd going. It's a firm favourite. It really is. Another great song, a highlight for me. Then, for me, it gets a little bit weak. We got another song called One World, a very sentimental song about, don't abuse the world and stuff like that. Which, to me, it still rocks, but it's a little bit weak. It's the weaker song out of the album for me. I think if I had to pick a weak song, it's that. It's a bit of a filler. It's it doesn't do much for me, put it that way. Then we go to ADI, Horror of It All, bit of an acoustic, semi-acoustic number. But the thing is about this album is that it has aged. For me, I still think, the production of it has aged it a lot. But, you know, ADR High of it all, semi-acoustic, I think it was. Yeah, it is. Yeah, a great song. It's not bad. And the album rounds off with Imitation of Life with like a reoccurring riff, like a whirring riff, you could call it, which I quite like. And that was my first journey into the world of thrash metal, and I absolutely loved it. I really did. For me, the album has aged with the production. The material on the album, there's about half the album, well, minus 2 songs, I would say. The rest of the album's essential for me. It's essential Anthrax. It really is. It's essential listening. So, overall, boys and girls, Anthrax, Among the Living, it's a classic thrash metal album. This album propelled them to play bigger stadiums, gave them more exposure, and of course, when that happens, then they end up having not enough time to complete the following album properly. The following album after this suffered because of their schedules, but that's for another story, boys and girls. But Among the Living, Anthrax, if you like some rock and roll, go and get it. Cheers for watching this one. God, I don't have to go on, don't I? Just have me coffee. See you on my next one. Cheers.